Alright, so for those of you that don't know, I am a game changer for EA Sports UFC, and contrary to what people might think, our ability to affect actual change in the game is pretty limited. What we do is provide feedback and suggestions to the developers and then sit back with our fingers crossed, hoping they listen and implement the changes that we call for. It's a pretty good position to be in because not only do I get to play the game, but I'm also extremely passionate about mixed martial arts, and that passion also transfers to how much I want the game to represent MMA properly. When you look at the game changes and the team in general, every single aspect of the game is covered. You've got those that are very passionate about online play, you've got those that are very passionate about the game being balanced, you've got those that are passionate about the career mode, offline modes, the AI and offline play, and then you've got those that are very passionate about realism. Does the game actually represent the sport of mixed martial arts? So it's a pretty solid team, and next month we're going to have the opportunity to go to Canada and play the game. Now personally, I'm really excited about it because EA Sports UFC 2 was a learning experience. I focused really heavily on realism while playing EA Sports UFC 2, and every single thing that held the game back in that regard came very clear. So I feel like I'm gonna be going into this one way more prepared than I was for UFC 2, because for UFC 2 we were brought in pretty late into the game's development. By the time we were brought in, there were very little things that we could actually change, or very little things that we could get the developers to change because of how far into development the game actually was. The point of this video is to tell you guys exactly what I'm going to be looking out for when I get there, and to also get your suggestions on what you would like me to look out for when I get there. Now, can't tell you anything that has not already been released officially by EA Sports, so I can't speak about anything specific that has come into the game. I can't do that at all, but I can say something broad like the game is gonna focus a lot more on realism than any other MMA game ever made. I'm also so excited about these changes that playing UFC 2 at this point is just so tedious, because based on what we've learned about UFC 3, it's gonna be a completely different game. You might as well forget everything you know about UFC 2 because none of it will work in UFC 3. We are all going to have to learn to play the game from scratch, and personally, I cannot wait. Now, when I get there, there are a few things I'm going to pay very close attention to. Number one is fighter uniqueness. One of the things I hate the most about UFC 1 and UFC 2 is the lack of fighter uniqueness. For the most part, everyone just feels the same, and this is due to a lack of signature strike animations that should have been captured for fighters who approach fighting in a unique way. And not just signature strike animations, I'm talking about how they move as well, how they hold their hands. There are a lot of signature animations that are completely missing from the game. Lyoto Machida, for example, does not throw punches the same way Rashad Evans does. Stephen Thompson doesn't throw kicks the same way Robbie Lawler does. Even when you look at some of these fighters throw the same exact strike, you will see a clear difference between the way Stephen Thompson throws a kick and the way Robbie Lawler throws them. Now I'm going to be paying close attention to the fighter stance, their idols, how they carry their hands, how they move around the cage, and if I'm not seeing enough variation between these fighters, especially the fighters that have a really unique style, I mean, I'm gonna speak up loud and clear. It's high time we got a game that respects fighter uniqueness, not just during walk-ins and celebration cutscenes, because I mean, when it comes to that, EA really nailed it. They really did. But they also have to make these fighters feel unique the second we pick them up and start using them in a match, in an actual match. So I'm gonna be looking at that really closely. I also have a lot of interest when it comes to how the AI fights. There are way more offline players than there are online players, and I am one of them. I prefer to play the game offline than I do playing online, and honestly, a lot of players just want to pick up the game, go to an exhibition match, and just have a good time fighting the AI. A lot of players do not want to deal with the bullshit that online play comes with. And what these players want is a realistic AI that fights like the actual fighter and presents them with a challenge. Sure, eventually we'll all learn to beat the AI consistently, because I mean, the AI it cannot possibly be intelligent enough to keep adjusting to whatever it is you're doing. But a good, realistic, challenging AI will keep players coming back years and years after the game dies online. This is precisely why I'm still able to post Fight Night videos. because the AI is so good. I'm playing against a competent AI that actually beats me sometimes and does it without using unrealistic game mechanics like spamming parries non-stop. Now, if I tried playing EA Sports UFC 2 against the AI, a lot of you will not want to watch that at all, because not only is the AI completely incompetent, there is no chance I would ever lose a fight to the AI, even in the highest difficulty. The AI fights like it has, I can't explain it. The way the AI fights is so unpleasant to look at in UFC 2. So when I get there, I'm gonna pick up different fighters with different styles and compare how the AI is acting. If I'm facing Lyoto Machida, is the AI being passive? Is it hanging back, forcing me to have to engage? Or is it brawling with me like the Machida AI in UFC 2 does? If I'm facing Damian Maia, is the AI trying to take me down at all costs and trying to submit me? Or is the AI content just striking with me like the AI does in UFC 2? I'm also going to be looking for signature strikes from the AI, correct pacing, as well as fighting from the right distance. Not every single fighter wants to fight you in the phone booth. Not every single fighter wants to be toe-to-toe with you. Will Conor McGregor, the Conor McGregor AI, will the AI keep me at his kicking range by throwing long-range weapons? And when I lunge in, will the AI try to pull and counter with a straight left? Will I get the sense that the AI is making calculated moves in there? Or is the AI once again gonna feel like something that was completely rushed with no thought process put into it? These are things I'm going to be looking out for. This is what makes offline play extremely fun. When you're facing a fighter, when you're facing an AI that is approaching the fight realistically like the fighter actually will. Now, the developer in charge of the AI has been incredibly active with keeping us updated on their progress, and so far everything we've heard is incredibly exciting and promising. But I'm still going to test it all out myself and see how far things have come. Now, I'm very passionate about kickboxing, and honestly, this right here is where my main interest lies. A game that takes a realistic approach to kickboxing is a game that will never get old in my book, because when the approach is realism, we get to see so many different styles flourish, as opposed to one super dominant style that everyone tries to copy. I mean, go look at most of the Division 8 players. There's no variety to their approach to striking. It's the same exact combos, the same exact setup, the same exact pacing. Everyone is trying to run you over the second the fight starts off. But compare that, for example, to all the different styles of strikers we actually have at the highest levels of MMA, and it's clear that something essential is missing. Take a look at a guy like Dominic Cruz. The way Dominic Cruz moves in there, the way he approaches striking. Compare him to a guy like Conor McGregor. Now compare Conor McGregor to a guy like Stephen Thompson. Okay, compare Stephen Thompson to Robbie Lawler. Now compare Robbie Lawler to a guy like Junior Dos Santos, and compare JDS to a guy like Alistair Overeem. Then look at Demetrius Johnson, the way Demetrius Johnson approaches striking. Look at Holly Holm. Take a look at Joanna Jędrzejczyk. You see a lot of different styles of fighting there. They're all really good strikers. I mean, take a look at Luke Rockhold. Take a look at Anderson Silva. Take a look at Michael Bisping, who's also a pretty good striker. Look at the way these guys approach kickboxing. They're all good strikers, but they're not all fighting the same exact way because they found the one style that works every time, and that's all they're gonna do. They're not gonna try something different. That's what I'm looking out for. And when it comes to this specifically, a very good plus that I'm really grateful for is that we have a very talented gamer on our team. Kinetic Energy, and he's exceptional when it comes to getting really good really fast and finding a way to win very quickly. Now this will be really valuable because he's going to find something that could be exploited. He's going to expose it, and the developers will fix it even before the game ships. My hope is that by the end of the 2 days we'll be spending playing the game, we would have all found as many possible exploits as possible and put an end to it. Guaranteed, I will also be looking to see if I can exploit whatever new system they've put in place. I'm going to try to break the game. I'm going to try to ruin it. I'm going to try to do every cheesy move that I can possibly think of. And the more we find possible cheese and possible bullshit and possible exploits, the more we can be like, hey, look, devs, look at this. I guarantee the second this game drops, Players are going to find this shit and they are going to do it. Y'all better fix it. Now, of course, in 2 days, we're not all going to be able to find all the possible exploits that players will be able to expose and discover with months and months and months of playing the game, but we'll do our very best in finding those exploits. The striking has to feel realistic. The damage system has to be strict. We shouldn't be able to just go wild and not pay for it dearly. The stamina system also has to reflect activity properly. If you're throwing wildly and missing a lot, by the second round, your stamina should be considerably lower than your opponent's, especially if your opponent is doing a damn good job of countering and conserving his energy. If you're spamming takedowns nonstop, spamming clinch attempts nonstop, if you're spamming anything nonstop and wasting your energy, by round number 2, it should be very evident that, wow, that dude was a dumbass in the first round and now he has no stamina. That's exactly how unforgiving the stamina system should be. I'm also going to do my best to make sure that we convince the developers to put an end to guaranteed combos like we have in the game right now that take advantage of guaranteed hits done. The fighters absolutely should react accordingly to strikes, but there should never be a situation where everyone learns a very specific combo that if you can chain them together, it creates a juggle that the player cannot get out of. Striking has to be realistic now. It just has to be. No more Mortal Kombat bullshit. It's high time we got a game that followed actual real life principles as much as it possibly can. That's what is going to be fun. That's what's going to give this game the longevity it needs online, because players will constantly develop a new style, a style that revolves around realism, and everyone wins. Last but not least, none of these changes to the striking will mean a damn thing if the clinch does not change at all, if there are no improvements at all being made to grappling, because players will quickly realize that they cannot strike to save their lives and immediately go back to holding for dear life, slow dancing in the middle of the octagon, faking transitions and mixing elbows and knee. All that bullshit has to change, and every single game changer agreed. We are all willing and ready to bitch and moan and complain and cry and scream until the clinch is fixed and until the grappling is updated in some way, because again, fix the striking all you want, make it as revolutionary as you want, but if the clinch cheesers can still spam it with very little risk, if they can still just hold on for dear life, cheesing their hearts away, you might as well not even waste your time fixing the striking. If everything we are being told about the striking is true, then I guarantee the clinch needs to be fixed. Because again, players will realize, oh shit, I can't cheese anymore on the feet. Holy heck, I can't throw these combos. Wait, I can't parry your jab and land a head kick. What? No way. I better get back to my clinch cheese. So we are all going to be looking at that real closely. In fact, personally, my plan is that I'm going to clinch the hell out of any developer that I play. I'm gonna purposefully ruin his fun with clinching until they're so sick of the clinch bullshit that they fix it. We have to get these developers to feel as disgusted with the clinch bullshit as us players feel every single time we come across it when we play online. It has to be fixed, and that's the only way to make them understand, because these guys don't play the game online like we do. They make the game, you know, like, yes, they made the game, absolutely, but they do not encounter the players that we encounter. They don't get to deal with all the bullshit that we get to deal with. But that's basically it. If there's anything else you guys would like me to look out for, please let me know in the comment section. I'm gonna make a list and try my best to remember. It's only gonna be 2 days, and 2 days can fly by very quickly, but we're all going to try to make the most of it. I'm also going to make an update video once we get back and give you guys my honest impression. EA doesn't pay me shit. They don't pay me shit. So if I think the game sucks, I'm gonna tell you guys I think the game sucks. And if that gets me kicked off the Game Changer program, then so be it. So be it, but that's exactly how this is gonna go down. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot. And I'll see you guys very soon. As always, keep yourself safe and have a wonderful day.